Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. So in this video over here, I'm gonna give you the tips, what you can do to improve your bike that will sell it for top dollars. And let's get into it right now. By the way, if you found this video useful, give it a thumbs up, subscribe over here so other people can get to see this and benefit from this video. And let's get into it right now. So every 5 to 10 years, I tend to change my bikes, and I go through this process fairly quite often. So I can tell you what is it that you can do in order to make some small improvements at a reasonable cost that will get your bike to sell for a top dollar. And let's get into the first one, which is I'm gonna go from the most expensive to the cheapest one, so you can kind of figure out what you need to do. So the first one over here that you're gonna do, you're gonna check the tires. I would advise that the person that's gonna come down to a test drive and buy your bike, he will want the tires to be fairly newer. They don't have to be new, like in this case over here, but they will want to make sure that they're newer and they don't have to replace them right away. In a lot of cases over here, what I have noticed, the front tire usually lasts longer because the rear one takes a beating. So what you have to do in a lot of cases, you may have to spend $15 to $20 on the rear tire, which will go the long way. What that will do, the bike will be ready to ride, and you're gonna have a buyer buy that bike a lot quicker rather than if you were selling the bike with the worn out tires. So what I will do for you guys, I'm gonna include the parts down in the description where you can buy them, and you can browse what I would recommend that you replace on a bike if you are selling it, so you get top dollars. So once we are done with your tires, you want to spin the wheels. So spin the wheel and see if your tires are true. If the wheels are true. I would advise that you want to check if your wheel set is true, especially the one at the back. That's pretty inexpensive. So you can get the tires trued before the buyer comes out to see the bike. That will really go the long way, so that the buyer, when he comes down to check out the bike, he will know that the bike is ready to ride, and that he doesn't have to invest the money into truing the wheels, which will benefit for you long way. Now I'm gonna now move from the cosmetic side over here, so you can kind of see what I'm talking about. If they're going to test ride the bike, chances are that they're going to run into the bar tape. So what you want to be doing, you don't have to go like in this case with the Physique, with some expensive bar tape, but I would recommend that you at least get a gel, the black gel or the white, what fits better depending on the color of the frame. I would advise that you get a $10 bar tape, which I will link in the description, and at least put a new bar tape, because that will go the long way when it comes to test ride the bike. The potential buyer will definitely be turned off if you have a dirty bar tape over there. That will potentially scare them away, especially now that we have all kind of diseases and viruses. They're gonna be happy if you put some very nice bar tape, like in this case over here. I'm gonna link down in the description some of the bar tapes that I would recommend, so you guys can pick. Now another thing that I would recommend would be the saddle. You don't have to include your Physique saddle, like in this case. What I would recommend you do, that you go back and find the original saddle that came with the bike and swipe your old one out, so that you don't end up giving them away, your nice saddle. So in this case, you end up putting back the old saddle, so the buyer would appreciate the new saddle on it, which you will install for them, ready to be test ridden whenever they show up. So that's a really nice touch, because what's gonna happen in this case, You're not going to be giving your nice expensive saddle, because chances are they may have saddle already for them, and in that case you will just end up losing the money, if you know what I mean. So once we have covered the bar tape, we are going now from least expensive stuff, the bar tape and a saddle. Now it's time to invest, drive into some drivetrain if they're going to be paying the top dollar. So what I would recommend that you have a look at the chain. So see over here, I just cleaned my chain a bit. So I would definitely get a bike shop to inspect the life and wear and tear on the drivetrain. So if the chain rings are in decent shape and the rear cassette, it wouldn't be a bad idea to invest some money into the new chain, so that the you can tell them that you put a new chain, you maintain the bike. So from the physical point of view, they will be able to recognize that. And then if the chain rings and rear cassette don't have to be replaced, guess what? The potential buyer will be happy to hand the cash over and buy the bike fairly quickly, rather than if you had the drivetrain run into the ground and worn out the chain, worn out the cogs. So that will definitely turn off a lot of audience that will come down to see your bike. So the drivetrain is going to be very, very important part of the deal, whether you like it or not. Now, since we're talking about the drivetrain, what I would also get someone to do, I would get someone that knows the bikes. So potentially the bike shop, and tell them to properly adjust your derailleur. When they come down to test ride your bike, you want to make sure that everything operates fine. Because keep in mind, if they have to take this bike back to the bike shop, that will cost them potentially $70 to $80 in a tune-up. So you want to make sure that someone came down to check over the drivetrain, see how the shifts, how the rear derailleur shifts. You want to make sure that the shifting on the bike is at least crisp and smooth, so that the person can actually test ride the bike properly, and they can make up their mind pretty quick, which will result into a quick sale. So that's something to keep in mind. Now, last and very important when it comes to the test riding would be always have the pump handy. So you see I have a park tool pump. Make sure put the proper PSI in there. So usually on these Continental Ultras, you have 120 PSI. So usually I put 100 PSI. So have a proper pressure in there so that the person can come down and test ride the bike, and they can get the maximum performance and kind of see the potential that bike has. So like I said, so these would be the minor things that you could do to your bike in order to get it to sell fast for the top dollars. I hope you found this useful. Like, subscribe, and take care. Bye-bye.